Good morning, it's good to see you. Another early start this morning and a bit of a wander further south of the Koh San Road area. We're about 1.5 kilometres, I guess, south east and more in a suburban area. I thought, because I'm not entirely sure what we're going to find this morning, that we'd have a topic of discussion or some of my opinions about a subject that I call the miserable expat syndrome. Probably a bit harsh, that term, but over the years I've been coming to the region and I've met a lot of expats, and the vast majority, the overwhelming majority of expats are very happy with their choices and their decisions to come and move here. There is a portion of them though that perhaps regret or are lamenting their decision to move out here for a number of reasons. I'd like to explore that a little bit, and just as a caveat, these are my opinions. It doesn't make them correct or true or right. They're just observations that I've come up with, or things I've read, or people I've spoken to that give me some, what I think might be an insight perhaps, but it doesn't necessarily mean that my opinion is right. Let's see what we can find. I think, therefore I am, a fitting mural perhaps for our walk and conversation today. There's always a what and what not to be seen, and that's is that what they call the big swing? You need a couple of big heavy ropes and a bench seat off that, and you've got yourself an Instagram spot. I think one of the reasons that some expats find themselves in a less than ideal headspace when they're here is they've been coming periodically for a number of years. They come over twice a year for a couple of weeks, and they really enjoy Bali or Thailand in that holiday mode, and the living here in places like this is vastly different to the sort of visiting in holiday. It's like having a holiday lover. The time you spend together on your holidays is wonderful, but living together is a very different proposition. So what happens is, once those curtains are pulled back and they see that, you know, Balinese people or Thai people are just the same people as everyone else, with the same foibles, the same flaws, so all of a sudden they've come down off this peak of holiday mode and now having to deal with the realism. It's gone from paradise to reality, I guess, and they're having to deal with the place on with a similar outlook to what they were doing in their home country, and that can be depressing. You know, when the gloss comes off, it's sort of scrubbed back to its raw state. You're not looking at it through rose-colored glasses anymore, you're living in it. That can be difficult. Well, we're off to a good start. This little lane has appeared from nowhere, out of nowhere, and it's obviously a little market lane. I obviously didn't know it was here, and not sure what it might reveal, but have a look at the price of 25. They look 25 for the bananas, so I think these are local prices here, that's for sure. Makes me wonder about that man on the street I got my bananas from. He gave them to me very cheaply, I think. The height of activity. I enjoy hearing the stall owners sort of shouting across to each other, catching up on the gossip, no doubt, from the previous day or night. They'd be a very close-knit community. They've probably been coming here for a long time. Generations, I'd imagine. Everything from socks to sauces and soups and fruits and fish. It's just so much fun for me, striking out, having no idea about where I'm going, no plan, and these things just appear. It's just really strange how in the past, where I've planned to go somewhere and it's been an obvious kind of place to go see, and it's just sort of very predictable. Oh, look at this food here. This looks great. Prawns, and look how colourful it is. Curries, mussels. Are they mussels? I think so. Crabs. Morning. Sawadee krab. How are you? Oh, very nice. Great fillets. Yeah, so you go out to these places and I don't know, there's lots of other tourists there. I think that's one of the main things. Sort of walking around in a herd with other tourists doesn't excite me that much. Look at the size of these prawns. These prawns are enormous. Look, that's one in my hand. Huge. And I realised maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, but just taking off and stumbling along and getting lost really does open things up and reward you. Look, not all the time, not all the time. Sometimes you'll go out for an hour or two and you won't find anything. You'll just be walking around street corners and buildings, and not often though, particularly in Asia, not often. There's always a market. There's always a market. But it'd be 6:15, 6:30. Who knows how long these guys have been going? They may have started at 3 or 4 in the morning. I know in Bali, sausages and. Sorry. Very nice. I know in Bali, like that street market in Ubud, that's going at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So these guys have probably been here for the same time. It's interesting what he's doing here. Is that lemongrass that he's stuffed the fish with? Here I was saying that the monks over in Soirambucha are getting spoilt. Well, the local monks around here have got plenty to choose from as well. Some nice flowers. Sadika. Right, where should we go? Left, right or straight ahead? The streets are getting busier as the commuters head into work. Another reason possibly why some expats, a small portion of expats, find themselves not completely happy is the social isolation that can happen. I was engaged to a Balinese woman some time ago, considerably, a long time ago, and I would go on these family ceremonies, and I'd join the family at certain periods, and I didn't speak Balinese and I spoke hardly any Indonesian, and I would sit there for hours completely removed from everything apart from the occasional discussion with my partner. And I lived in a village outside of Ubud, which was, there was no other Westerners there. I was there by myself, living with her, surrounded by Balinese people. And after a period of time, I felt, this real need to associate and talk to not my people or my tribe, but just talk in English and talk about subjects and topics that were of interest to me that I couldn't sort of have with those discussions with the people that I was living with locally. This isolation and the feeling that you're alone, I think, can weigh quite heavily on some people, and they start to feel that, I don't know, a lot of people find, oh my goodness, oh my, look at this. I think we've discovered the area that provides Bangkok with its, look at the size of that gong. And these are now just enormous. Enormous. They must be moulded. But they just go on and on and on. It's like that, it's like the terracotta army, the Chinese terracotta army that they discovered. It's just endless. My goodness. I'm trying to give you, the problem with these wide-angled lenses on the GoPros, they don't give you a very good perspective, and I'll give you an idea of how big this thing is. Like it, I'm 6'3", and this one's just twice the size of that again. My word. What are they? They look plastic. No, they're a thin aluminium or steel. It just goes on and on. These black ones are lovely. I really like the black ones. I think we've certainly found the main supplier of statues of Buddhas to Bangkok. I wonder if someone's going to come out and tell me off for sneaking. Oh, it just goes on and on. Look at this. Oh, that's insane. That's crazy. The walk started out really well. But yeah, I think being culturally isolated can make you feel really quite unhappy. I found it anyway. I needed to talk English. I needed to talk about a range of subjects that the people I was surrounded by weren't interested in. And that's no fault of the people I was living around, you know, like we all have our own interests and our own traditions and our own cultures. But I was starved for it. And I got a bit down there for a while. What I did this morning was walk a couple of k's out and thought I'd make my way back, so I'm sort of about halfway back to the Koh San area. I don't know what that is, what that building is. It's enormous. It reminds me of a train station. On first blush, I want to say its architecture is like brutalism, but it's not. Brutalism was that form, I think, after the Second World War, where there was a lot of exposed concrete, and there was, it was very rough, very brutal. It was very sort of solid, but it's not. I really do wish I understood architecture a lot better. But this building is just magnificent to look at. I'd say it's probably, my goodness, I don't know how tall that'd be. It's probably a government building, I imagine. Maybe. There's probably a main entrance there I could go and have a look at, but I'm too lazy. I'm heading this way. Just down another alley now, and I noticed there's a coffee sign, and lots of photos on the wall. But I might have a coffee, I think. Sawadee ka. You have coffee? Yeah, can I have one coffee with sugar, please?
Coffee,
sugar?
cappuccino.
Cappuccino would be very nice, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I think one of the obvious reasons that someone might become a little bit sad or depressed or miserable as an expat in these types of places. Hot? Hot, yeah, thank you, madam. Is financially. Let's say you've worked all your life up until 60, worked hard, you've planned, you've done the numbers, and you say, right, $500,000, 750, or whatever your figure needs to be. You come over, and then the currency in the country you're living in just explodes and just eats away at your money. Like, I think I've mentioned it before, in Thailand in the last 10 years I've lost 30% or Australians have lost 30% of the value of their dollar coming here. I know that it's been similar for people who rely on the pound. They're losing so much. So, you know, if you forecast, say, at 60, say, right, I've got 20 years, 25 years to cater to, I need this, you do that, 5 years in, 10 years in, that amount's halved. You're in a situation now where even if you wanted to go home, you probably can't afford to. If you do go home, you may not have the lifestyle that you want back there. So you sort of weigh up the options and say, well, it's better for me to stay here. I'm not happy about it. Reducing your lifestyle here isn't what you wanted to do. And you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. So that financial aspect, I know some people who have come out a little underprepared, I guess, and this currency or exchange rate depreciation has really affected them, and yeah, that's made it very difficult for them. I ordered a cappuccino and got a Americano with no sugar. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Should I?
Yeah, okay. Yep,
Okay.
yep. Okay, thank you. And do you have a spoon? I'm sorry, I'm very sorry. Spoon, yeah? So my cappuccino's turned into an Americano, that's fine. I'm traipsing around Asia with not a care in the world, no responsibilities, no commitments, no financial pressure. And, you know, to get bent out of shape because you got the wrong coffee is just, you know, it's yeah, unacceptable. I was just sitting here having my coffee and a lady walked up with a sweet and opened up a packet and said, here, have this, good morning, have this with your coffee. And that was nice of her, wasn't it? Another little stretch of markets. They're just everywhere. You just really can spend hours and hours walking around. Well, I can anyway. And some people might argue that it's repetitive and it's the same type of thing, but I don't think it is. I think every area, every little market has its subtle differences, its subtle nuances, its subtle social dynamic, and you know, different produce and different types of things as well. I think I'm getting closer now. I think what, maybe a kilometre, would I be a kilometre away? I'm not sure. But another reason that you might find yourself in a less than ideal state of mind when you come over as an expat or living here full-time or long-term is if you have some kind of mental diagnosed mental illness and you haven't got that under control, this isn't the place. We'll have a look down here. This isn't the place to deal with it or sort it out. You need to have that sort of under control. You do see from time to time people that sort of have gone off their meds, or they haven't got that aspect of their psychology together, and it can be quite difficult. But along with that, where am I? We'll go this way. Oh, is that the monument? Is that the Democracy Monument? I think another issue that some expats have is they don't have a purpose while they're here. They don't have anything to do. They spend their life working, and they come over, and all of a sudden they're doing nothing. And what that invariably leads to is finding an expat group and perhaps drinking a little more than you normally would, and that becomes habit, and all of a sudden it becomes routine. I enjoy a beer as much as everyone. I'll probably have one or two beers most days, but when you don't have anything to do, that one or two beers can sort of escalate into all-day drinking sessions with your buddies in the bar. Don't get me wrong, everyone has their personal choice to do whatever they like, and if they're happy doing that, that's fine. I'm not judging anyone, but I have met a number of people who I think would prefer not to be doing that. They've got nothing else better to do, so they end up getting in this drinking habit, and long term that sort of grinds them down a bit as well, I think. There is, of course, those unfortunate stories of expats who have found themselves coming here with the financial means to have a happy and comfortable life, and they have an experience with a partner or whatever, and they lose a lot of that through the relationship. And all of these things can leave you quite cynical and bitter, I guess. You can become a bitter barfly quite easily, and so I think you have to be prepared in a number of ways before you come over. But it's getting quite noisy on the street now, and I think I've exhausted my opinions on the miserable expat syndrome. Good morning, how are you?
Yeah, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Making my way home now, back to my room, walking through Koh San Road. It's the shortest path to take. I've seen the results of the night before most mornings when I'm out early. I just wanted to mention that those opinions of mine are just my opinions. I don't believe that they are particularly right. It's just from what I've come to understand. Other people may not agree with them, and that's fine. I'm not the great fountain of knowledge, it's just my personal experience that I've come to these sort of understandings for myself. and what I believe. If people have their own opinions, I'd love to hear what you think the reasons people might not be happy making the move out here as expats. But yeah, that's just about it for this one. Thanks very much for coming along. As always, I hope you're well and happy in life and doing the things you want to do. We'll see you soon.